fields had just begun to be plowed and sown, but wild boars quickly arrived and caused serious damage. In response to the farmers' concerns, we went on hunting trips with them. These efforts were aimed at reducing the number of wild boars and also limiting their destruction of the fields. Follow our hunting journey in today's video. Wild boars have become a big nightmare for people. In the fields, they destroy crops, reduce productivity, and cause heavy losses to farmers. Not only that, they also invade the city. Wild boars rummage through trash cans, causing unsanitary conditions and causing trouble for people. In the face of this destruction, hunters must apply appropriate tactics that help them reduce the number of wild boars effectively and safely. As soon as I got off the car, my hunting dogs were excitedly chasing the wild boars. From the bushes, the wild boar rushed out. There was no proper preparation, so even though I tried to shoot several times in a row, I couldn't bring it down. But there were still other wild boars running away. The big wild boars ran past, but I was lucky enough to hit one in the end. This hill had big fat wild boars, so I was even more determined to kill them. The efforts of chasing with the dogs paid off, because shortly after, our group hunted several wild boars in a row. The barking of the hunting dogs continued to echo. They had surrounded a wild boar in the field. The struggle lasted. I also quickly approached and fired. The wild boar roared extremely scary, but the result was also very satisfying. I took down the wild boar quite easily. That afternoon, we moved to a nearby mountain to hunt wild boars. From the car, I discovered wild boars crossing the road. At that moment, we immediately raised our guns and aimed. The gunshots were crisp. The herd of wild boars also disappeared behind the bushes. We got out of the car and determined to chase and kill them. After half an hour of searching, I finally found a wild boar in a small stream. At a relatively close distance, I fired consecutive shots. There was no mistake. The wild boar was taken down by the stream. The cars continued their hunting journey. Although it was now afternoon, the wild boars still appeared to look for food. Noticing the traces of the wild boars, we quickly ambushed at a suitable location. The herd of wild boars quickly ran through the forest. From below the road, I easily observed and fired consecutive shots. After the wild boar was hit and rolled down the roadside, I also quickly finished it off. The hunting trip had just begun because soon after, we observed a large herd of wild boars running away. Determined to kill the wild boars, we aimed and shot at the herd of wild boars together. Immediately after that, we headed towards the nearby mountain. The hunting dogs were still working extremely effectively, and it didn't take long for the wild boar to be unable to withstand the pressure and appeared. When it rushed out of its hiding place, its huge body surprised us. I couldn't let such a good opportunity slip by. A series of bullets passed, and the wild boar was quickly destroyed. We were extremely proud of this trophy. It was probably the biggest wild boar we hunted today. In the dense bushes, the barking of dogs still rang out quite regularly. I followed the trail to look for the wild boar. Nearby, a hunter in the group had just opened fire. He had found the location of the wild boar and started to act. Not a bad result. The wild boar was taken down in just short moment. But in this dense forest, there were probably many wild boars hiding, so our battle might continue. On the opposite slope, my hunting dogs were eagerly chasing a large herd of wild boars, creating a very strange scene. We patiently waited for the opportunity, and as soon as the opportunity came, gunshots rang out continuously. The wild boars panicked and quickly scattered in all directions, but we also quickly pursued, determined not to let any of them escape. The sparse bushes were not enough to hide them from view. From the opposite slope, we easily aimed at each moving target. Speed was their only advantage, but that was not enough to overcome our determination and skills. In the end, I got a large wild boar as a trophy, a worthy reward for the whole day's efforts. At the end of the day, I ended the hunt with pride, as the wild boars I hunted were all impressive trophies. However, it is also a reminder that the wild boar population in this area is still very large, and we need to continue hunting trips to control the population properly. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.
Fruit-laden orchard suddenly becomes a battlefield when a pack of ferocious wild boars rushes in, destroying everything in their path. What will farmer do to protect his year of hard work from the destruction of these wild animals? Let's follow the fierce battle between humans and wild boars in the dramatic and breathtaking chase right after. Dawn broke, our group left the small village and headed into the hills, where wild boars were wreaking havoc on crops. Vast fields of grain and lush orchards looked like a peaceful picture, but the peace was quickly shattered when a herd of wild boars appeared, stirring up chaos right before our eyes. A large herd of wild boars had penetrated deep into the orchard. We quickly split into two teams. One group surrounded the outside of the orchard, while the agile hounds charged straight inside. Chasing the pigs began to move in a chaotic manner, barking loudly, and then a small wild boar ran out of the trees with the frightened look on his face. I was ready, a shotgun in my hand, aimed straight at the target. Boom! Broke the silence. A perfect shot. The wild boar staggered and then collapsed. A miserable cry rang out. But this was the price it had to pay for the destruction it had caused. But that was only the beginning. Inside the orchard, another wild boar roared loudly. It was much larger, weighing at least 120 kg. With jet black fur and glowing red eyes, it charged at an incredible speed. However, the pack of hunting dogs had already surrounded it and attacked fiercely. They had cornered the wild boar with no way out. After dealing with the threat in the orchard, we headed to our main destination for the day. The hill, about a 10-minute drive from the orchard. The rough and the winding roads did not faze us. When we arrived, the scene before us was vile. The hills were high and the trees were dense, a haven for wild boars. As soon as I got out of the car, I spotted a large black-furred boar galloping across the hillside. It looked like something was chasing it, and I knew this was my chance. I raised my gun to my shoulder and aimed. My first shot missed, the boar dodging with surprising agility. But not letting it escape, I quickly reloaded and pulled the trigger a second time. This time the bullet flew straight at the target, a perfect shot. The boar staggered and rolled down the hillside. A sense of victory filled me. From the distant hill, another herd of wild boars appeared, wandering around looking for food. I aimed straight at a large pig with pale grey fur. It seemed to be leading the herd. As the leader left the bushes, I took a precise aim and pulled the trigger. Boom! Bullet hits its head. The leader fell down in an instant. The loud explosion caused the whole herd of pigs to panic. They ran in all directions. Not wasting any chance, I continued to aim and shoot one by one. Shot, then shoot again. Gunshots continued. 1, 2, 3. One by one, the pigs fell.
Ali, Ali.
At this point, with a distance of 500 meters, I knew this would be a real challenge, but also an opportunity to show off my top shooting skills. I aimed at a large wild boar in the distance. With a steady breath, I held my hand steady and pulled the trigger. The bullet flew through the air. The long distance made me nervous, and then, boom! The wild boar was hit and fell on the spot. A spectacular shot at an extremely difficult distance. A sense of excitement and victory spread throughout my body. This was the result of months of relentless training, and this was how farmers fought to protect their crops from wild boars. With determination, excellent shooting skills, and tireless perseverance. Although we had killed one target, the loud noise only caused more chaos among the wild boars. They began to run away, hiding behind the dense trees. Suddenly, from the right side, a huge wild boar rushed out with terrifying speed. It moved like lightning, but my hunter instincts reacted immediately. I raised my gun, boom! The wild boar collapsed to the ground.
reason to.